Hello, this is Maggie Borders. Today I'm going to take a look at Nearpod, which is an instructional platform. It's interactive in nature, and it's a great presentation tool that allows teachers to create slides, lessons, embed multimedia, and create engaging opportunities for students to interact with materials. So I'm going to do a quick overview of the platform, and then I'll look at some opportunities that I created for my students and look at how they can engage with this platform based on the way I've explored it so far. So first of all, when we look at this, you'll see this is kind of my own screen, my home screen here. This is what I have available so far. I hope that my library here gets larger as I have more time to work with the platform. But you'll notice here, you can see these Nearpod VR links. These are existing presentations that I used by searching through the library that already exists. So you'll hear I looked for France. And so what's neat is I can go out here, see everything that's available for France. I can filter my options. For example, if I want to look for something for my 7th graders, I can see what's out here, click on it, really vet the product to make sure that it is something that I would want my students to be working with. And if it is, then I can put it into my library by hitting add to my library. This could be a great opportunity for different extensions or enrichment opportunities. Sometimes for me, it is hard to come up with the time to create all the enrichment opportunities that I want for my students. And so this could be a great opportunity for students to interact with culture and history in a new way. And I think that VR options are really, really cool. So that's one option. Another is to create a lesson. I don't find this platform as quite as intuitive as interactive as some that I've used. However, I think it's a really great thing to play around with, and I could see it being a big benefit, as time goes on and as I get more comfortable with it. So for this one, I created a very short lesson, so much shorter than typical, but I wanted to just see what was out there. To start, I came up with a very, very basic homepage, and I embedded a video. This would be a conjugation song video here, just to kind of spark the students' memory. What's interesting is I can create a pairs game for my students. They could use this as a formative assessment, matching images with phrases. So here, if I click Il fait la vaisselle, and then I look for the picture that corresponds, it'll give students immediate feedback, which is fantastic. Keeps the students engaged. Another option is to go to a fill in the blank exercise. So I created this really quickly just to have something for the students, see how this would work. Students can drag and drop. I can use conjugations. I can use context-based information. And what's really great is students can get immediate feedback. Okay, so as I look here, I'm just going to wrap this up so you can see what happens. Students can fill in the blanks and hit submit. Oops, and I missed something. I'm not sure what I did here. I missed one to fill in. So if you look here, you can, again, offers them that immediate formative assessment. They can see what they missed. I can see what they missed. And I can, I can teach these lessons through the platform. What's really wonderful is with the teaching, I can have students do live participation. So I can control the pace of the lesson to make sure that students are, staying focused, that they're actually doing what they need to and moving through at an appropriate pace. Or I can give them something that's student-paced so they can do this maybe as a homework assignment or just take the time that they need. I can see benefits of doing both. It would just depend on the context in which I'm teaching. Another wonderful opportunity here is to take a video. So this is a 12-minute episode of a really fun show that my students enjoy watching. It's in the target language. And so what I can do is actually put a video here and then have periodic questions come up. So as they watch the video, you'll see all these little blue dots. That's where I added questions. So if I look at the question here, the question will kind of pause at a place. And so it'll have a sentence starter, and then they have to add the answer that they think is correct. So this is a great way to work on students' comprehension and for it to be interactive. And again, we can kind of work with their interests. In this case, a fun little children's show seems like a great opportunity for my students to be working with the language. So if we look at the engagement aspect of this, on the 3 E's model, asking if the technology allows students to focus on the task of the assignment or activity with less distraction. So what's the time on task? Again, the great thing about Nearpod is that it could be a teacher-paced activity. So depending on the type of activity that's chosen and how the teacher decides to teach it, Nearpod could allow students to focus on the task without distractions or with minimal distractions. For example, if the students are watching a video with accompanying questions, then the teacher knows how much time students should need to complete the assignment. Something else with the matching game here on this presentation, you can set a time limit. So I could say students have 1 minute to match all the pictures to the phrases. This gives that kind of that sense of urgency and allows me to see again also as well how quickly they're moving forward. In the world language classroom, though, I do think it's important to note that, for example, watching a video in the target language, it may not appear like an active process, right? It may seem passive in some ways, but in a world language classroom, students are working on interpretive, interpersonal, and presentational skills. Interpretive skills are seemingly passive, but so much is happening below the surface. Students are receiving target language input and using decoding skills. So Nearpod has the potential to support interpretive skills by offering practice opportunities through lessons and videos. Teachers can deepen the learning activity by creating questions that are aligned with their school's curriculum and embedding them in the video so students are focused on the video and answering questions in real time, not after the interpretive piece has been concluded. So this could be a powerful tool with lots of opportunities. Does the technology motivate students to start the learning process? Again, this depends on the type of activity that's chosen, but I could see an opportunity here with this Nearpod VR. I could have students choose. I could give a choice board, which is motivating, and then the technology is a way to really enhance that opportunity where they have some choice, but they're all, working within the constraint of what's offered. So I like the idea of using Nearpod for videos, virtual reality, and it could be about any topic. So again, we've got some VR opportunities, but also some episodes of a children's show in the target language. So again, there could be choice provided, and students typically find opportunities like these engaging to interact with in a new language, and they're hearing the language and benefiting from visual input to support the language. So a lot of benefits and possibilities here. Looking though at whether the technology causes a shift in the behavior of the students, where they move from passive to active social learners. The technology causes students to be active learners, but it does not necessarily cause them to be social learners. There are possibilities of doing polls with these presentations. I did not work with that. So really, to Dr. Kolb's point in the engagement video, it's up to the teacher to use instructional strategies in tandem with the technology tool. So following, for example, if we're looking at this video here, this children's video, I could envision extending the activity by asking students to pair up and write one question in the target language about the video they watched. And this question should be original and different from the ones they answered in the Nearpod. With the student questions, the teacher could pose them to the class, have them answer them in pairs. This extension does not use the technology per se, but it is supported by the technology. And as noted on the EEE framework website, students can be pushed through scaffolding the activity via an independent listening session with questions followed by paired activity that extends beyond the technology. So engagement is high with this. There isn't necessarily an obvious opportunity for students to be social learners with each other with co-use or co-engagement, but teacher discretion and strategies really could allow for that opportunity, especially if using these to do polls or more interactive things with co-engagement. So lots of possibilities. Next, I'll be looking at how Nearpod can enhance and extend the opportunities in the classroom. Thanks for joining me.